The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour.
ChatGPT did become the world's most downloaded non-gaming app.
Literally the job of everyone in government to address the media and the public.
What are your thoughts, audience? What are your thoughts on Zandy Silva as the deputy PLP leader?
A community that can't feed itself is a community that's doomed.
What you may not know, though, is that Bermuda, we have a connection with Epstein, too.
Things that people are doing right, the youth are doing right, that is not being advertised enough.
When you see your access to U.S. dollars disappear, that's when you have a problem.
You've got a town in the UK with a similar sized population. This place absolutely outshines it.
It's Wednesday, the 3rd day of June 2026. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. This is the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC Bermuda, Medical House, Linda's, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 1075 for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations. I'm Jamal Hartman, and guess who's back in the house? Guess who's decided to show up to work, folks? It's in the house. Teray, welcome back.
Thank you. Happy hump day. Happy to be back.
Yeah. So hold on. First off, you haven't been on since like January? I think.
Yeah.
February? Yeah.
February, it's been a hot minute.
But you've been doing some awesome things because you've been doing that thing I said I'll never do again. You know, the formal education thing. You've been finishing your master's, Rhodes Scholar like you are. You gonna tell us that?
Yeah, of course. So the reason I was absent, aside from Jamel and I's constant, is I was writing my thesis. I had to write a 30,000 word thesis and conduct my own research. So usually when you write like an essay, you have a question and you use existing sources, but I had to create data to write the thesis, and it was just a huge undertaking. So over the past 4 months, I've just been every day writing the thesis, but I submitted like 2 weeks ago. So I'm all done, and I just have my exams left like in about 2 weeks, but the thesis is complete, so all is well.
We are proud. We are happy. And Taj as well, folks, because I'll be real with you. I'll be real. Your fans have been asking about you and Taj, and I'm like, they're in school, right? And I used to tell these guys all the time, I'm like, they're focused. But people have asked, oh, where's Teray? Where's Taj? Because you can't tease them, Teray. You can't bring all this intellect, right? I mean, look, I'm not an academic. So, my rants and rambles don't, really come across the same. So you can't set them up like that and then just disappear. You feel me? But no, I'm happy, honestly, to be surrounded by such scholars like yourself and Taj and what into the conversations. I know the audience is probably more excited to have you back because now I know I got to be ready for battle and,
Get ready for battle. But Jamal, you didn't do too bad because although I was writing my thesis, I was still watching. Like there are times where I'd have TDH up on the screen and I'd be writing. So you did good. You did good. But yeah, Taj and I are finished with our thesis and we're happy to be back with the Daily Hour. I mean, missed it too. Like I missed it too. I wasn't in the comments because I felt like that was a tease, like being in the comments is a tease. So I was just watching.
And I would have probably, called the boss about somebody, being fired on the day off or something. One of your fans says, Charles H. Jefferson II, he says, welcome back to Ray. We've missed you. Yeah, he's not saying anything as kind to me.
I missed you too, Charles. He's going to come back with something witty in a couple of minutes. I'm in his good books for now.
Indeed. We've got Dr. Anthony Richardson says, welcome back. Kathy Sumner says, good morning, Jamal and TDH. And O and T Towel. All right.
T Towel, I like that.
We've got Suzanne says, good morning, Jamal and Teray. It's a super awesome day to be alive and in TDH house. And even more awesome because Teray is back in the house. We are here to conquer our day. And
yes, we are.
That's good morning, Jamal. Good morning, Bermuda. Glad to be with you. We are glad to have you. Teray, you're in London right now, right?
I'm in Oxford, but it's rainy here too.
Okay.
Like it's torrential rain. I mean, of course, who's shocked? But yeah, it's rainy.
Okay, well, Dr. Anthony Richardson, we're hoping for a little sunshine for you over in London town. How far is Oxford from London for those geographically challenged?
Like an hour and a half by train. But by car, I don't know because I'm on a student budget, so I only take the train.
All right. All right. Well, folks, we're happy to have Teray back, but greetings to you all, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome the Executive Director of Home, Denise Carey, on. We're going to be discussing how Home is housing individuals exiting the Department of Corrections. So very interesting conversations, the work that they are doing. The Daily Play is going to be entertainment today. So Teray may be rusty, right? She's used to, intellectual questions, not, Daily Play Jamal questions. All right. So we might catch her off guard today, folks. I don't know what we're going to ask her, but I guess you all can help in the audience. Don't forget to subscribe to our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Folks, there's a lot to discuss. And, I had to flip a coin to see what we were going to discuss this morning. So what we didn't discuss this morning or won't discuss this morning, we'll likely discuss tomorrow unless something happens overnight. Because that Sean situation is bigger than football. But
worth the discussion.
It is. But we're going to focus on CARICOM. The conversation around CARICOM or Bermuda potentially becoming a full member of CARICOM continues to evolve. And one of the criticisms we've heard repeatedly is that government's messaging has been more emotional than practical. Many people have pointed to the slogan, the story of us, and argued that while it may sound good, they still want more clarity about what Bermuda actually gains from full membership versus remaining an associate member. They want specifics, they want details, they want to understand exactly how this benefits Bermuda and Bermudians, right? Well, personally, I've said from the beginning that I don't necessarily see an issue with Bermuda considering full membership and aligning more closely with our cousins to the south. We already share many historical, cultural, and family connections throughout the Caribbean. At the same time, I completely understand why some Bermudians remain reluctant. Asking questions doesn't make someone anti-CARICOM. It simply means they want to understand what they're signing up for, right? What's interesting, though, is the government's use of the phrase, the story of us, seems to have opened a door to an entirely different conversation. A recent letter to the editor made a point that I found quite interesting. The writer said that if government wishes to reconnect with our roots from CARICOM, perhaps we should remember that Portuguese rock at Spittal Pond dates back to 1543. The writer then suggested that perhaps Bermuda should consider forming an alliance with the Azores as well. Now, some people may laugh that off, right, Teray? But I think there's actually a serious question buried in that statement. If we're talking about the story of us, who exactly is included in that story? Because when you look at Bermuda's history, right, our story didn't come from one place. Yes, there are strong British influences. Yes, there are deep Caribbean connections. But there are also generations of Portuguese Bermudians whose contributions helped shape the country. Today, we also have communities from places like the Philippines that play a significant role in Bermuda's workforce, economy, and society. So when we talk about roots, should we only be looking south, or should we be thinking more broadly about all the places and people who have contributed to Bermuda becoming what it is today? Now, before anyone misunderstands the point, this isn't about choosing between CARICOM and the Azores. It's really not about saying one relationship is more important than another. What I'm really asking is whether Bermuda should be doing more to strengthen relationships with all jurisdictions that have played an important role in our development. Can we strengthen ties with CARICOM while also strengthening cultural, educational, and economic ties with places like Azores? Can we do the same with the Philippines as that community continues to grow and contribute to Bermuda? And the story of us include all of those chapters. I think it's an interesting question and conversation because it forces us to think about identity in a different way. It challenges us to ask whether Bermuda's future should only be based on geography, or whether they should also reflect the people who have helped build the country over generations. So this morning's question, very direct to the point, and it may make some of you uncomfortable, but what are you Bermuda developing CARICOM-like relationships with jurisdictions that have played a significant role in Bermuda's development? We're going to take a quick break. Gather your thoughts. I'm very interested to hear what Teray has to say on this. Don't go anywhere.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
All right, folks, you heard the question. What are your thoughts on Bermuda developing CARICOM-like relationships with jurisdictions that have played a significant role in Bermuda's development? Now, real quickly, the government opened the door for this one. This is why I would like this emotional appeal. I don't know. I don't know about this one, but let's put up the poll well before Teray jumps in. Audience, let us know, what are your thoughts on Bermuda developing CARICOM-like relationships with jurisdictions that have played a significant role in Bermuda's development? And also, along with CARICOM, who should the government consider expanding its relationships with? 1, Azores, 2, Philippines, 3, other, or none. Be honest. Be honest with us. This is your daily discussion by Titan Express and Secure. Ray, I feel like you've been waiting months to say what you got to say.
And I do, and therefore I'm going to take a liberty. I'm going to answer the second question first. My answer is 3 other Bermudians abroad.
Woo!
Okay, because you're right, Jamal, the government did open the can of worms to this and say, when they said, oh, we want to join CARICOM, they definitely opened the door for this question. But I am just seriously underwhelmed by their attempts to make connections with Bermudian students abroad, Bermudian workers abroad, and Bermudians who just live abroad generally. So while I'm not saying that we shouldn't develop more relationships with people in the Azores and the Philippines, whether in Bermuda or outside of Bermuda, I am saying that the government has more work to do generally in terms of connecting with populations and groups. So do I think that we should start developing relationships with CARICOM, Azores, and the Philippines? Yes, but to what extent and at which expense, right? Is it going to be at the expense of Bermudians? Because it's a lot. It's a lot. So that's my answer to the second question. Other Bermudians who are abroad, that's who government should consider expanding their relationship with, because they haven't even gotten that right, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Now to the first question, should Bermuda, or what are your thoughts on Bermuda developing CARICOM-like relationships with people, with countries that have helped its development? I think yes. However, again, with caution, because in the Azores, that would look like developing a relationship with the European Union. We know that the Azores is kind of like an outermost region of the EU. And I think Bermuda generally does an okay job with that from a British overseas territory perspective. But I think more needs to be done. So yeah, I'm okay with that. I just think that again, it has to be measured. And I think you said it right, Jamal, that there's a lot of emotion in this, because there's questions about whether CARICOM is even an effective institution right now, right? With everything that's going on with Trinidad and Venezuela, is CARICOM an entity that is appealing to people at this point? Perhaps, perhaps not. But those are my initial thoughts.
No, I love it. And thank you for removing the box and making us think, because that other, I was not thinking Bermudians who've left Bermuda. And I think that's as important as anything, simply because, people keep saying, and someone might have said it in the comments, Dr. Anthony Richardson, on the face of it, sounds like a good idea, but doing so may dilute what we consider from a historical perspective, what is Bermuda heritage/culture. And if we're honest, Bermuda heritage/culture has been a mix of West Indian, British, and Portuguese influences. When you start to dilute that by adding other groups, it changes, it evolves, right? We've seen it happen in bigger cities, but small jurisdictions like Bermuda, that can be dangerous. And dangerous in a sense where no one should ever feel like their home isn't their home, especially when their families and them have put so much into developing it and building it, you know? But audience, let us know. This is your daily discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. What are your thoughts on Bermuda developing CARICOM-like relationships with jurisdictions that have people who've played a significant role in Bermuda's development? And also the poll question is, along with CARICOM, who should the government consider expanding its relationship with? 1, Azores, 2, Philippines, 3, other, 4, none. I think Teray hit a nail on the head with 3 other and said Bermudians who've left Bermuda. You got something from the audience, Teray?
I do. We have a lot on this. So Michelle White, 4222 says, connecting globally, particularly with Azores and others, is an interesting combo, but slave trade participation may take us away from connecting with some. Ramon Smith?
Real quickly before you move on. So I think what Michelle means, so I didn't know this until I went to the African American Museum in DC back in 2017, that the Portuguese traded more Africans than any other nation. You know, growing up, you just thought it was the British because the British had, you know, colonized so many places. But the Portuguese actually, that's how you have so many Black people in Brazil. You know, when people say there are Black Portuguese, there are not Black Portuguese. There are Black people who speak Portuguese because of how historically they crossed the Atlantic, taken by the Portuguese to Brazil. Am I wrong? So I think that's, you know, in what she's saying, the slave trade participation may take us away from connecting with some. I get that. I completely get your point. But I think the Azores, is it a colony or territory of Portugal?
They're like an autonomous region, but effectively, yeah.
Yeah, but for I mean, many Azorean people have helped develop Bermuda and done a lot for us to enjoy what we do today. So let me just end it on. Go ahead. Sorry, you had romance.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's important to think about, right? Because what would a connection look like? Does it look like unpacking that history? Does it look like teaching that history? So these are questions that are worth considering. Ramon Smith said, a great idea for total inclusion of Bermuda people. We are a mixed group of people. For example, there are Black and Portuguese de Silvas.
I just touched on that.
Exactly.
There's no Black. I remember when I was in high school, people said, oh, Palais is a Black Portuguese. No, he's a Black Brazilian of African descent who speaks Portuguese. You know, it's not to go off topic, but it always fascinates me. I remember asking a friend, a Dominican friend, why do you call yourself Spanish? You speak the language, but I speak English. I don't call myself English. It's fascinating how we do that.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's
anyway,
important.
We did Dr. Anthony Richardson already. Who else we got?
Renee says, I'm with Teray. I would think certainly Bermudians abroad, as I could be one. So why not? Michael Daniel says, my understanding is that joining CARICOM doesn't keep us from making other connections. I think you're right. However, energy spent in one realm definitely decreases energy spent in another. So if Bermuda is going to pursue CARICOM in a full membership way, I do think that means that a lot of our resources are going to be generated towards creating connections in the Caribbean. Like you said, it doesn't prevent us from making other connections, but it definitely makes it a priority.
Yeah.
And Dr. Anthony Richardson says, using the Quebec, Canada example as a model, focusing on specific racial or ethnic groups can become very explosive and divisive. Interesting. And then Charles H. Jeffers II says, oh, Teray, how I have missed you. I've been saying for years that we need to find ways to engage Bermudians living outside of Bermuda. In fairness, full CARICOM membership requires a diaspora connection.
I agree, Charles. I have missed. I mean, my father, I'm gonna put him on the spot. He misses Taj, and like when he was, oh, were they on? Yeah. I think the value they add, and this is the importance of having intellectuals, people who add value to conversations, because my hope from this is that you all take these conversations that we have, these brainstorming sessions, as I like to call them, and have them in places where actual change can happen, right? Like, we beat this drum about bringing Bermudians from overseas back into Bermuda and so on, but is anything really happening to, encourage that? I think it's important. Ramon Smith said, no, the Arabs did. What's that about?
He might be talking about the slave trade, but it's probably worth him clarifying before I assume. But Jamal, on what you said, I think you and Charles are both right. And every time I think about policy for bringing Bermudians home, I think about Charles H. Jeffords II, and I think about you. But I also feel like that explains a lot of the backlash to the story of us and the proposal to join CARICOM as a full member, because Bermudians are like, what about us? We can't find jobs. You're going to bring people, like, this is the sentiment. You're going to bring people here, maybe not. And then we're not going to have jobs. Or what about us who are away and, for example, cannot vote, or, for example, don't have a kind of meaningful connection? It really just, to me, it seems like Bermudians as a whole, and I relate to this, feel kind of gypped by the government and overlooked. So therefore, when these proposals come up like, oh, let us join CARICOM, they're like, no, how about you get it right with your citizens who are in Bermuda and outside of Bermuda first, right? And if joining another kind of political organization is the solution, then maybe you're just not an effective group of politicians to solve the issues. So I think there's a lot of undercurrent to the resistance to CARICOM, but mostly I think it's because Bermudians are just generally feeling overlooked in many instances.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, and I think a lot of Bermudians are right to ask questions like, how is CARICOM going to help our education system, reduce crime, so on? I still would encourage people to read the Green Paper. A lot of questions are answered in there, but there are many people who have read it are still uncomfortable. I just feel like with the emotional approach, the government has opened up a can, and I believe clarity is so important. One of the first things you learn in sales is you want to be able to answer the objections before people have questions. So if I'm in government, I want to go to these town halls with the answers already there, so no one's able to stand up and ask questions like I'm delivering something that oh, okay, that answers my question, never mind. Real quickly, folks, hit the poll for us. This is the quietest you've been on the poll. I think you're scared to say how you feel, but along with CARICOM, who should the government consider expanding its relationships with? 1 for Azores, 2 for Philippines, 3 for other, and 4 for none. Teray says other, and she said Bermudians. Real quickly, I just want to, if Ramon Smith was saying no, the Arabs did, that is absolutely not true. A quick Google search, you don't even need to read a book, will tell you that Portugal, Brazil, literally, makes the United States look like saints. 5.8 million enslaved people in the transatlantic slave trade. We're speaking about the transatlantic slave trade. The Arabs were not involved in the transatlantic slave trade. The Portuguese, let me just show you how extreme that is. Britain, which was behind the Portuguese, 3.3 million. So you're talking, they almost doubled what Britain did, and France 1.3. So let's not try to rewrite history when it comes to the role that European countries played in the transatlantic slave trade. The Portuguese were the worst offenders as far as trading African people. The worst offenders. I will not apologize for that. That's the facts. Again, that has nothing to do with those from Azores who have greatly contributed to Bermuda and what it is today. Let me be clear with that. Teray, we've got to show Titan Express and secure some love. It's 100% other right now in the poll, but we've got to show them some love. But I forgot, today is Wednesday, and that means Teo is teaching us something new with this, something he thinks we should know, right? So, folks, we're gonna do that, and then we'll have a days of the year. You got a days of the year for us, Teray?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Teray's got a days of the year for us. All right. So what we're gonna do is show Titan express some love. Then we'll go to Teo to see what he thinks we should know. It's always something very interesting. Another intellectual that just thinks weirdly on me. All right, we'll be back with Teo's Days of the Year. Stick with us.
The Daily Discussion is brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Titan Express delivers safe, professional, and reliable transportation and tours across the island. From island tours to cultural experiences, they set the standard. And Secure is your go-to for property management, waste management, and residential and commercial services. Visit securebda.com. Professional, punctual, and reliable service is their commitment to you.
All righty. Well, folks, let's go and see what Teo has for us. Don't forget, we've got Denise Carey coming up. Very important conversation from home. But let's see what Teo's got for us.
Good morning, I'm Teo Dill, and welcome to today's episode of Something You Need to Know right here on TDH. First, full disclosure, we use Google VO, their AI tool, to generate some of the background video for this piece. Let us know what you think about it. Now, today, we are going to explain something that you've probably been suspecting for a while now, or at least I've been suspecting. So, you know what's weird? Like really weird? Human beings are now more connected than at any point in the history of our civilization. You can FaceTime somebody in Tokyo from your bed in Bermuda. You can message hundreds of folks instantly. You can watch somebody's entire life unfold online in real time. And yet, loneliness is exploding. Not feeling kind of down sometimes, actual measurable social isolation. And the scary part is this is no longer just a mental health conversation. It's becoming a physical health conversation too. In fact, the former U.S. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy released a major advisory saying the health impact of chronic social disconnection is comparable to smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day. That sounds exaggerated. Like there's no way being lonely can hit your health like a pack-a-day habit. That is until you look at the data. A massive 2023 meta-analysis published in Nature Human Behavior looked at more than 2 million adults across 90 different cohort studies and found that social isolation was associated with a 32% higher risk of dying from all causes. Loneliness itself also significantly increased mortality risk. Researchers have linked chronic loneliness and isolation to elevated risks involving heart disease, stroke, depression, anxiety, dementia, and cognitive decline. And honestly, one of the least discussed parts of this story may be what's happening specifically with men. According to the American Survey Center, 15% of men now report having no close friends at all, a 5-fold increase since 1990. Multiple peer-reviewed studies have also linked loneliness and social isolation to increased suicide risk and so-called deaths of despair, with researchers suggesting the impact may be especially severe among men because traditional masculine norms often discourage emotional openness and help-seeking. And when you really think about it, it all makes sense. Like a lot of men are taught to avoid vulnerability, suppress stress, and handle problems alone. And then adulthood hits, right? Work, kids, financial pressure, less free time, fewer community spaces, and increasingly relationships happening through screens instead of real life. Now, here's where this becomes especially interesting for us in Bermuda. Small places historically survived because people were deeply embedded in real communities. You knew your neighbors. You saw family constantly. Sports mattered. Church mattered. People physically ran into each other all the time. But now, a lot of people are physically in Bermuda while psychologically living somewhere else entirely, inside TikTok algorithms, inside outrage cycles, comparing themselves to strangers in Miami or London or Atlanta or wherever, more than connecting with actual people around them. And social media creates this bizarre illusion of connection, right? You can spend hours interacting online and still end the day emotionally isolated because passive digital interaction often does not affect the human brain the same way that genuine closeness does. That's why people increasingly report feeling lonely in relationships, lonely in friend groups, lonely in schools, and lonely while constantly online. And I honestly don't think that we fully understand yet what happens to societies when human attention becomes commercialized, relationships become performative, and loneliness becomes normalized. Because this may end up being remembered less as a phone problem and more as one of the largest uncontrolled public health experiments in modern history. So, yeah. Have you been feeling this in the air too, or is it just me? Like, do you think this dynamic has impacted us here in Bermuda? I definitely do, but I'd like to hear what you think. Let us know in the comments section on the TDH socials. And thank you for listening to this episode of Something You Need to Know right here on TDH. I'm Teo Dill, and now back to the show.
Oof. Jamal.
So one of my friends was visiting last week, and we were talking about social media, and he says, we was just speaking how people like do this likes and follows, and he was speaking about how it creates anxiety. And I say this respectfully, and this is not to offend anyone. There are very few Bermudians who have social media pages, individual pages, who literally making money from it. And when I say making money, it's a job, and they're not doing it just for attention, but they two names that come to mind that it works for them. Obviously, Mr. Photogenic, and I'm speaking about people based in Bermuda. Mr. Photogenic, right? The brother's harmless. He's just himself. He like fun. I mean, I was telling Keitha yesterday, my business partner, I was like, did you see Sean's video about that bear all over the ground? Like, I just couldn't stop laughing. Like, the guy just like it. And again, remember when he really hit his height, it was during the pandemic where everyone just needed to loosen up.
To laugh, exactly.
And Katrina, like her or not, I just think she finds a way to entertain, right? Katrina O'Connor, Power Girl, she calls herself. But outside of that, I think Teo hit a nail on the head. And I'm not criticizing other people, right? I'm just making a point that stuff is a mental illness.
It is. I'll criticize other people. And when I say people, I mean like the Zuckerbergs of the world, the Jack Dorseys of the world, the Elon Musk, who spend billions of dollars each year to make these social media platforms addictive and keep people on them. My concern has always been the youth. And Teo kind of alluded to this in his video. He said like young men in particular are most affected by this. And I'm like, if you spend all of your time online, on the phone, in a world that is curated to your thoughts, your beliefs, and your opinions, and you don't have resistance with other people like we do all the time, Jamel, then you never learn, you never grow. And I'm like, that is so terrifying to me, because I think about Bermuda and how we're already socially kind of, on a smaller scale, like education is different. Like, it's just so worrying. So yeah, Jamal, I think you can criticize Bermudians for upholding social media as this really high standard because it has an effect.
I remember back in the day, I said to Carl Azul on this show, I said, I really only follow things that empower me, enlighten me, and people I actually know I'm connected with. But I don't follow celebrities. I don't follow anything that make like it. I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it. It is a morning show and there's probably children. But it's one of the reasons that I've never been into like going to, I guess, strip clubs, stuff like that. I don't like fantasizing about things that are not going to be real to me, right? And so that's how I look at social media. It's like, I don't love to live in this fantasy land of like, oh, well, I can do that too. No, I can't. I have a different lifestyle and budget, But also, I guess because I was surrounded by love growing up, I've never looked for outside validation. When I say to like and follow this show, I'm really doing it for the conversation because algorithms will, we go to these broadcast conferences, they bury your content, right? So when you like, follow, and share, that's how you beat the algorithms, right? That's not for me. That's for the community so that they can know what you all are saying, so that they can literally be a part of conversation, so they can say, oh, no one's talked about this. Yeah, we have. Teray just like someone, I looked at my phone, someone says everything Teray said. But again, if people are not tuning in, I had someone say, oh, the FDM hasn't said anything about CARICOM.
Yeah, they did.
Literally was on this show the morning his thing was on in the Royal Gazette and said something.
And they had a full press release going line by line, responding to everything.
The day it was in the Gazette, he was on this show. So I'm like, they have. But again, we're so focused on what's on Instagram, what's on TikTok, what's on these, let me tell you something. This is a true story. Before we got to go days of the year, we've got Mr. Carey waiting for us. I got on Twitter for one reason. Manchester United. In 2012, we were still winning. Sir Alex was still cool. Over the years, started getting more political on there. But do you know what I scroll for every day on the internet? Football news. Literally. No, not I suspended my support for Manchester United over the last few years, right? Because I just can't take it. I can't take losing, right? But I blocked someone on Twitter named Piers Morgan. You know Piers Morgan?
Unfortunately.
Okay. I can't call people names, but he would be a name that you're thinking of. Yeah. But it wasn't even just because of his politics. That's fine. I'll argue back. But it was his toxicity when it came to football. And people are like, seriously, because of football? Yes.
He fits the profile. English, belligerent. I can imagine. And
that's without drinking. Well, I don't think he's drinking beer. But my point is, I protect my peace. Piers Morgan doesn't know I exist. But he interrupted my peace. My point in saying all of that, folks, do not allow social media, something that's not real, to interrupt your peace, happiness, or the path that you are on to greatness.
But Jamal, I think you're one of the rare ones who can do that, who can say, I'm only following people who support me or who I'm inspired by. You're one of the rare people who can kind of beat this addictive, like, chemical of social media addiction. And you know how we always talk about Bermudians looking to alcohol as a level of escapism? I also think social media is a form of escapism because, like, it's instant dopamine. Like, these profiles are hijacking our dopamine levels. And I always think about the children, like the students and the youth. Adults, it's the same issue, but my concern is always, what is this doing for kids? And I'm like, can you imagine if every, like, prepubescent thought can be given back to you in sophisticated language? I'm like, just not a safe place. Like, and also we do know that a couple of weeks ago, about 2 months ago, Meta was found guilty for causing esteem issues to this girl in California. And they had to pay her like a lot of money. And I'm like, this is for every user. So my opinion on the situation is, I don't think young kids should have a phone or social media until they're like 16. That's my view.
That's one of the last big debates we had in the TDH group. And I remember it because I think you and Taj disagreed for the first time. Did you?
We did. Taj and I disagreed. Taj is more of a safeguarding person, but I'm an outright ban person for this.
It was a fight. Like, trust me, once Taj is, back, they're going to be doing the show by themselves, right? Hey, it was one of the best, because I'm like that, man. I'm not in the debate and I'm watching too. It was awesome to watch. But anyway, it's not about me enjoying that. You got a days of the year for us?
I do. And this is a nice one, perhaps a little late because the May 24th, the marathon just finished. But today is National Running Day. And I know that our audience is fit. You're fit. I'm fit. Charles is fit. People are fit. So I know we're running. I'm sure Denise Carey is fit. Everyone is fit. So question for you, Jamal. What's the longest you've ran before?
Oh, probably, what's a 10K? 6.2 miles? 10K.
10K.
Yeah, I think it's 6.2 miles.
It's 6.2 miles. It is.
Yeah, 6.2 as an adult. I don't remember as a child, but no, I usually, again, I usually go on the Beltline once or twice a week, run 2 miles, then walk 2 miles back. And then I'm going to try to do 4 miles one day, but probably not anytime soon because the conditions, it's very hot in Georgia right now. But yeah, that's my limit right now. I just try to do 2 miles. Can I do more? Yes, but I don't push myself beyond that.
Yeah, and also I hear that when you take it incrementally, it's always better for us. Wait, also, Anika DeShield says Denise ran this Bermuda Day. Oh, congratulations! Oh wait, hang on. We have to confirm that is true.
We'll ask her when she comes on.
Yeah, we will. Dorian says 26.2 miles and 365 yards.
Yeah, that's the longest run. So he did a marathon.
26.2 miles. Mercy.
More power to you, Dorian. I just about
Jamal's right behind you.
Yeah, to right behind. All right, folks, the longest you run. We're going to take a quick break. Got a very important conversation coming up with Ms. Denise Carey, the executive director of HOME, an organization I have a lot of respect for. So you don't want to miss this. Stick with us. Teray told Jamal Hartman. We'll be right back in about 3:37. Time us.
Children love to play and have fun, and they love gifts even more, especially ones that they can enjoy and learn from. With Bermuda Trivia coloring books, kids can explore the island while they color, learn, and create. The perfect activity for fun and learning together. Available now.
Visit BermudaTrivia.com and follow Bermuda Trivia on your favorite social media platforms to learn more. Hi there, welcome to Medical House. We're located at number 6 Bakery Lane. I can't wait to show you all of the great stuff that we carry. Come on inside, let's see. Long days, long shifts, you no longer have to endure comfortable underwear. Designed by nurses, we now offer premium undergarments by Swoop that are unique, fun, comfortable, and functional. The only underwear you'll ever want to wear. Who says high-quality functional products can't be stylish and comfortable at the same time?
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
Discover Drop It, your go-to grocery delivery. Browse and select from a wide range of groceries, from fresh produce to daily essentials. Our friendly drivers deliver fresh groceries to your door fast, saving you time and hassle. With Drop It, you get fresh groceries delivered fast, so you can focus on what really matters. Drop It, freshness at your doorstep, delivered to your door with Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
What lasts isn't what you buy, but what it becomes. With the HSBC MasterCard credit card, every spend quietly adds to a story shaped by intention and offers what matters most. Support that meets you where you are. Protection that preserves what you choose. Confidence for the unexpected. Peace of mind wherever your story leads. Start your next chapter. Use your card today. HSBC is licensed to conduct banking and investment business by the Bermuda Monetary Authority.
Ever taken medication and thought, why is this hitting me so hard? Or why isn't this doing anything at all? Here's something you may not know. Your body processes medication the same way it needs to process food, using enzymes. And these enzymes metabolize medication so it can be converted into its useful form or removed from your body. Pharmacogenetics looks at how your DNA influences the way your body metabolizes or breaks down medications. It helps explain why a drug that works well for one person causes side effects in another and barely works at all for someone else. That means the same pill at the same dose can feel very different from one person to the next. It's not about blame, it's not about doing something wrong, it's simply biology. And once you know what works best for you, medication decisions stop being guesswork and start becoming personalized.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. To Ray Toll, I am Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC, Bermuda Medical House, Linda's People's Pharmacy, and big love to a Hot 107.5 for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations. Folks, do not forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Real quick, Trey, I know you were like born in like the 2000s, right? You know,
2000.
Okay, whatever. Yeah, after the 90s. So have you heard of a singer called Peebo Bryson?
Sorry?
Oh wow.
No, I didn't hear you.
Okay, have you heard of a singer called Peebo Bryson?
Peebo Bryson, no.
No. Man, Peebo, he was my neighbor here in Atlanta. But Peebo Bryson, one of my favorite songs is, you want me to sing it or just say it?
Yeah, give us a little.
Baby, can you stop the rain? Anyway, you all didn't pay for that. I'm not doing it. Anyway.
Yeah, that was good. You and me, I need to do a little duet.
He sang with Roberta Flack. I forgot what that song was called. Celebrate My Love or something. Then he had that one with Aladdin, A Whole New World, right? And then he had Beauty and the Beast. Who was that? Was Celine Dion? Beauty and the Beast. Story short, Peebo passed yesterday, man. He gave us so much hits.
Oh no. May he rest in peace.
Yeah, for sure. But he gave us some song. Yes, Beauty and the Beast too, right, Charles? Yeah, see, Charles. Teray, I'm gonna get you on some music. I know Denise knows about Peebo.
I'm sure she does. I saw her do a little shimmy shimmy when he started singing.
Stop it now. All right, let's focus. We have a very special guest. We're delayed, so hopefully she we didn't delay her too much where she has to run, but let's give a warm TDH welcome to our very special guest. We got the executive director of HUM, Ms. Denise Carey. Denise, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
We have a lot of questions for you. We're fine, but we have a lot of questions. First off,
I see that.
There's a rumor spreading around that you ran in the Bermuda Day Half Marathon Derby this year.
I absolutely did. That was following a challenge from Trey Durham, who also ran, who works for him. And he was like, I'm going to run it. And I was like, I'm going to run it too. The things I get myself into.
Wow.
Yes.
Congrats. That's awesome. Like to decide on that whim. Yes. Jamel, you're next.
Ever do something like that, what Trey Durham did to Denise to me, to Ray?
I just did.
I didn't hear. Okay, Denise, I got another question.
Yes.
Peebo Bryson, favorite Peebo song?
I like A Whole New World. That was very special to me. Yes, absolutely.
All right. I knew she knew what was up. But first off, sorry for our delay. Teray hasn't shown up to work in a few months, so she kind of talked about this morning. So please forgive us. But what I want people to do, I first met you when you were at the Sunshine League. You literally have had a career dedicated to helping people. Before we jump into the meat of the conversation, just tell the audience a bit about yourself and how your trajectory to HUM.
Sure, absolutely. So I guess the cliff notes of it, I studied criminal justice at Northeastern, really wanted to work with the offender population from a rehabilitation perspective, had the opportunity to work in residential as a parole probation officer, and from there, Sunshine League. And then when I transitioned into Registry General, I was the assistant registrar and had the opportunity to facilitate Bermuda's first same-sex marriages. I'm not realizing the advocacy that was required at that point in time. And right around COVID, I connected with Arthur Whiteman, who's the founder and chair of HUM. We connected, and the rest was history.
Oh, you've played an integral role with some crucial things in Bermuda, something I did not know just now. And thank you for the work that you've done. For those who may be unfamiliar with HUM, again, just remind them of what HUM is, its mission, and what the organization's intent is.
Absolutely. HUM is a registered charity. We are coming on to our 5th year anniversary in Bermuda. Our commitment is to work in tandem with our government, with our private sector, with our donors, and of course, with persons who are experiencing different levels of homelessness. There is no legal definition for homelessness in Bermuda, so we have adopted the ethos, which is the European typology on housing and housing exclusion, which highlights 13 subsections, which falls under roofless, houseless, housing insecure, and inadequate housing.
And audience, if you have any questions or comments for Denise Carey this morning, please send them through. We'll get through as many as possible. Now, HUM is known for providing housing and support for individuals in need. This morning, we're talking about how HUM is supporting those leaving the Department of Corrections. Why has supporting people exiting the Department of Corrections become such an important part of your mission?
Well, the community will recall that recently the Minister of Youth, Social Development and Seniors, the Honorable Tanae Furbert, presented the plan to end homelessness to Cabinet, and highlighted in there as a priority is to provide housing for persons who are exiting institutions. And those institutions include the King Edward Memorial Hospital. As we are aware, there has been a shortage of beds there, and that has been attributed to people moving into the hospital. We have persons exiting Mid-Atlantic Wellness Institutes who've been going in for support for managing their mental health. And at that point of discharge, they have had challenges securing housing for them. But this also impacts persons who are serving a period of incarceration. Because we are in a housing shortage, exiting the Department of Corrections in and of itself creates a barrier. So what we are working to do is create a more sustainable pathway for persons so that they get the support that they need when they re-enter our community.
Indeed.
Yeah, and I want to take that a step further. For someone who's exiting corrections or leaving prison, what are some of the biggest challenges that they face when trying to reintegrate successfully into the community?
Yeah, that's an interesting question because we're in Bermuda and we expect that it's a small community. It would be relatively easy. But when we think about when we move to another jurisdiction, say to go to college, you really are starting from scratch. The community has changed significantly in the last 15 years. So, one, being able to secure housing whilst you're still incarcerated with limited access to finances is one. Two, being able to secure employment so that you can not only secure the housing, but be able to contribute financially to your rent, but then also that meaningful use of time. 24 hours is a long time. And when you have left a period of incarceration where every hour is carved out for you, then you really do need support with what you're going to be doing with your treatment, meeting up with your family and friends, and how that all reconnects.
Interesting.
Yeah. And housing is viewed as a basic need, but it sounds like you're saying it can also be foundational for long-term success, whether that's use of time, creating a community. So tell us how critical stable housing is for reducing recidivism and helping people rebuild their lives.
Yeah, the stable housing through the support of the parole board and being able to provide community supervision through the Department of Court Services by way of a parole officer, it really gives them a sense of purpose and that connectivity. It supports with them managing their physical health, importantly, their mental health. It assists with them in the development of their skills, their trades, and allows them to be a contributing member of our community. And we respectfully, the Department of Corrections is funded through taxpayer dollars, right? And so we've invested time and resources into someone who's been incarcerated. When they transition out, we don't, as a community, want to continue to cover the cost from that. What we want for us to do is to create a meaningful connection with the community, whereas persons are employed and are able to contribute and pay for their own health insurance, contribute to their own pension, and we're of the view that there is space here for everyone to reconnect and contribute in a meaningful way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know a lot of people watching in the audience, but just Bermudians in general, they want people who are leaving prison to become productive members of society. But I'm sure that there are barriers to employment, barriers to housing, and honestly, like social acceptance for
Yes.
reintegration. So how does home help bridge those gaps?
That for me is probably the most important thing. One, educating the community on the benefits of housing and employing someone with criminal history because they have that case management support. Advocating is high on our list of values. Being able to support families so that as persons are exiting corrections, they're able to reconnect, bringing a father, an uncle, a son home so that they are able to contribute to that family and repair damage that may have been done is the priority.
I'd like to ask a question because we're talking broad. The conversation so far has been broad about people leaving the Department of Corrections, but not every crime is equal.
No.
They feel as guys.
I think I lost audio. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there was a little buzz.
Can you? All right.
Yeah, there's still a little buzz. But I think we're just. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Can't hear you.
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Testing.
Yes,
Can you hear
I
me?
can hear both of you.
Okay.
Jamal, I don't know if Jamal can hear us, but I can but I can pick it back up while he sorts out the rest of it. Jamal was basically saying that no crime is equal, and I think he's right. And you talked about how social acceptance is important to you. So can you talk to us about how you kind of destigmatize re-entry into the community, specifically from a Bermudian perspective of people with a criminal record who are, for example, hesitant to support re-entry programs or hire somebody who was just released from prison, or generally accept them into the community? Like, what has that work looked like for you? And are there any kind of refinements that you see going forward?
Sure, absolutely. I think traditionally communities, not just Bermuda, have isolated or ostracized persons who have had a history with criminal justice. But the empowerment and the community safety comes from knowledge and the support. So for our community to be able to wrap around and ensure that persons with offending history aren't unemployed, because now you have a lot of extra time, right? So keeping them employed, keeping them busy, allowing them to develop their skills and contribute to the community actually is what builds that community safety. When considering housing or employing someone with a criminal history, it starts with taking your time, getting to know people, making sure that you've connected with the Department of Court Services, that you have a good relationship with the parole officer, and that that level of communication is always there. That is what improves community safety and ensures that the risk of reoffending remains reduced. It's what we do best as a family, is to support one another and hold one another accountable. Ultimately, it's the responsibility of that individual to demonstrate that they have made changes in their lives and that they are trustworthy, and that responsibility 100% rests with them.
Yeah, thank you for that. I'm going to get to the audience. We have one question from Michelle White, who says, employment is a vital part of their re-engagement with society, but their past crimes may impact the type of job they're able to apply for. How is this addressed by whom?
Yeah, there are different levels of trust that you can give to someone with a criminal history. It's important to take your time and make sure that you feel comfortable with any employment opportunities that you provide, and allow that person to demonstrate their willingness and their ability to be trusted, and increase the level of responsibility over a period of time. Absolutely no, it's not necessary to give people a blank check per se as it relates to employment. Take your time and absolutely trust your intuition.
Denise,
Jamal, welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. So, audience challenges. I was following up because I wanted to say not all crimes are equal in the eyes of the law. And just wanted to get clarity of what kind of offenders will leave in the Department of Corrections, because you also house, families and so on. So if someone's been convicted of specific crimes related to children, like how would that work? How are you classifying how to help who?
Right. It starts with persons who've been in for over a 3-year period as a minimum. And the why is because Union Street is a very close-knit community, and we do not want to have people who are sort of transient in and out of Astor House. It has a long history of providing services in Bermuda, and we wish to respect that. So first, it's the period of time that they've been in. Second, that they have completed all elements as required through the courts. That includes treatment, education that has been requested of them. It'll be reviewed by the parole board and the Department of Court Services, who will make recommendations to whom as to who would be the best suited persons to reside there. We have to keep in mind that with certain offenses, there may be requirements on their parole order, which will include random drug screening, a requirement for curfew. For some, it may state that you can't be within a certain distance within a nursery or a school, and those would preclude certain offenders from being able to participate in this program.
We have another question from the audience. Sean at Sumner says, how does home assist with persons who are sleeping rough in public places, and how accurate is the assumption by many that most are on drugs?
Home has been providing a housing first at Black Circle. In the first instance, one of the priorities in the plan to end homelessness is also the rapid rehousing of rough sleeping. So we are working on recommended solutions for that piece. It is absolutely a myth that persons who are homeless is directly connected with drug abuse or drug use. What the research tells us is that extended periods of time of homelessness leads to persons using mind-altering substance to help them cope with that housing situation. So the sooner we provide intervention services, specifically housing, the less likely someone is to pick up and use.
Yeah, thank you for that. And one more from Karen Edward Simmons. She says, Denise, can you talk about how the community can destigmatize the view that crimes are deemed more serious, murders, rapists, crimes against vulnerable persons and children and seniors, providing housing and employment? So I think the question here is, how can the community destigmatize very serious offenders by providing housing and employment?
Advocacy and education and getting involved. We are going to be opening up Astor House to the community by way of an open house that would allow you the opportunity to come in, being able to hear about the services that we are going to be providing there. And it also gives the community the opportunity to contribute, whether that be by volunteering or assisting with the operations of our programming. So that for me is how you reduce that stigmatization, is get involved, ask questions, and come and be a part of the solution. And that is not only members of the community, but families who are connected to individuals who are exiting the Department of Corrections.
All right. Good to the audience again. Charles H. Jefferson II, he says, so what happens to those who are unable to participate in this program? Arguably, those are the ones who need help the most. Is there another program for them?
There are other housing options. Persons have the right to come out and move in with private landlords. They can move in with friends and family if they're coming out on parole. Persons also have the option to serve their entire sentence so that they come out and there's no community supervision that is required. It is my preference that when persons are exiting, that they have those guardrails in place, because that will support the sustainability. But it's important for us to encourage persons who we know that are incarcerated to participate in programs such as what we are going to be providing at Astor House, so that they get the support that they need. Prevention is key.
Another thing, where is Astor House for those who may not know?
Astor House is located at 38 Union Street. And what I did not realize is that is the birthplace of Matilda Smith, of the Matilda Smith Rest Home. So she was born there. And then some years later, when she got married, she and her husband moved into the building that we now know as Black Circle. And when she passed, some of her, I'm assuming her friends, her ace girls, got together and they founded the Matilda Smith Rest Home. So I would like to make a shout out to the original founders of Matilda Smith Rest Home. And what we will be doing is honoring them by naming each one of the rooms, the bedrooms, after each one of the founders, the founding members.
That's lovely.
One more from the audience. Shonette Sumner says, does Home work closely with Maui at all? And by the way, Denise, you're doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you, Shawnette. HEM interfaces with all of our community partners from MWI, Financial Assistance, Workforce Development, the Department of Child and Family Services, Court Services, Department of Corrections, STAR, Teen Services, Teen Haven, Salvation Army, Bermuda Housing, Dignity House, Focus, Men's Treatment, you name it. And we have lots of resources in Bermuda, but those resources are strengthened when we work closely together, and we endeavor to continue to do that.
HEM's approach is rooted in dignity, opportunity, and support. Can you share how those values shape the work you do and the outcomes that you hope to achieve?
Absolutely. Our goal is that every person in Bermuda has a place to call home. And that does not mean that we are giving apartments away. That means that we are teaching people how to be good, reliable tenants so that our landlords feel comfortable that we are taking good care of their units. And we can only do that by ensuring that there are pathways to employment, that families are getting the support that they need, that when persons need to be reskilled and educated, the opportunity is there for them, and that people are taking better care of their physical and mental health. And that will continue to be the priority of HEM, is to make sure that we can access the support that we need.
Yeah. I thank you for again, the work that you've done and that you're doing, but how can the community, its audience and beyond, assist you and your team in ensuring that everyone actually does have somewhere to call home?
Yeah. From a landlord's perspective, it's if you have a unit that's available, please reach out. Please come and do a site visit so that you can see the spaces that our tenants are occupying and taking care of. Connect with the Department of Court Services and HEM so that we can provide that wraparound support for a person who may be moving in. Communicate about what you may need to take care of your apartment, but then also hold our tenants accountable. And that is what we most look forward to, is being able to grow and develop with not only our tenants, but also our landlords.
Indeed, Denise. How can people reach out if they want to get in touch with HEM or be able to donate or,
Yeah, so HEM has a website, hem.bm. You can go on there, you can volunteer, you can donate. My contact information is 599-9928. And you can also reach me at denise@hem.bm. And our case management team looks forward to hearing from you. That is led out by Keishan Bean, and he's our supervising case manager. And he has a team with Umar Dill, Deidre Morgan, and Zico Lewis, who are out in our community every day, making our community safer and connecting persons with landlords.
Denise, thank you so much. Thank you to your team. And don't be a stranger. We haven't seen you since last year. February or March, I believe. So please know this platform's here to engage and keep the conversation going until solutions are executed.
Thank you very much. And thank you to everybody in the community who's been reaching out and calling and asking those tough questions. Keep them coming. And I'm very proud of the work that we are doing together.
Indeed. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Denise.
Thank you.
All right, Denise Carey, folks, if you appreciated that discussion, you know what to do. Help us beat the algorithm. Let the community know what they can do to help those vulnerable in our community. So hit us with a like, love, follow, share the conversation with your friends, family, colleagues. We're going to come back after this final break with Daily Play. And I think Ray's got some daily inspiration for you as well. Stick with it.
For over 70 years, Bermuda Pest Control has been protecting homes and businesses island-wide. We offer a full suite of services, including rodent control, termite fumigation, and general insect control and maintenance. Our team of experts will quickly and efficiently eliminate any pest problem you may have. With Bermuda Pest Control, you can enjoy a pest-free home in no time. We're committed to providing fast, reliable, and solution-driven services for our customers. It's what we've been doing since 1952. Call Bermuda Pest Control today and say goodbye to pests for good.
Dreaming of expanding your business? With BDC's loan guarantee program, we support your ambitions. Get up to 75% guarantee on bank or credit union loans up to $300,000. Just your vision and our support. Apply today and unlock new business opportunities. BDC, Bermuda business starts here.
Bermuda, there's nothing like a home-cooked meal, especially when you can feed the whole family without stretching your wallet. With the affordable Bermuda basket, you'll find savings on everyday staples like rice, chicken, corn, and more. Everything you need to make a good meal for less. Shop the Bermuda basket at Lindo's, Marketplace, the Garden Market, and the English Market. Visit costofliving.gov.bm to see the full list of goods and start planning your meals. This is a message from the Ministry of Home Affairs.
Life moves fast, and so can the unexpected. When you insure your home, you need to know that your insurance company has your back. At Friesenbrook, let one of our friendly and professional agents give you that peace of mind. Because when you are covered, you are confident. Call us at 296-3600 or visit friesenbrook.bm to learn more.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back to the big show. Now, Hartman here. Teray is rocking back to set. We'll bring it back in. Thanks to Denise Carey and everyone at home, the work they're doing for trusting this platform to engage in the conversation. Send some love to the BAC group of companies, HSBC Bermuda Medical Health, Lindo's People's Pharmacy, and big shout out to Hot 107.5 for ensuring we can pump through the radio areas these most important community conversations. I'm laughing. Mr. To get back to set. Well, you know what? Actually, no, she was running from the Daily Play today, folks. So she was running from the Daily Play today, but here she is. She's back. But it's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Oh, first, I need to give you the answer to Keys to the Past yesterday, right? So the clue was, and this is in partnership with Curb, from which came a life rebuilt with love, with trade, with measured guilt, a home of strength, of wealth, of pride, where freedom and success reside. Seek the house where history grew, from chains once worn to fortunes new. Yeah. You know what the answer was, Teray?
No.
The answer, this week's key was found at Mitchell House. This was the home of William Archer, a man born into enslavement, who went to build a life of success after gaining his freedom alongside his wife, Isabella. He ran a business and accumulated significant wealth at a time when opportunities were limited. Their story reflects resilience, determination, and the strength of Bermuda's free Black community in the 19th century. All right. All right. Well, let's do the Daily Play now. Today's Daily Play, it's entertainment today. Right?
All right. Okay, let's go.
Okay. Here we go. You all might think I'm being unfair with this question, but it's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at the stores throughout Bermuda. Don't forget, Shoe By the original and Shoe By the summer edition. Brand new summer edition drops this month. So follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, here we go. Are you ready?
I think so.
All right. What is the name of the ultra nerdy neighbor who annoys the Winslows on Family Matters? Oop, that's not what I wanted.
I never watched Family Matters, but the Winslows, the annoying neighbors. Neighbor. Okay, so the Winslows. Steve Urkel?
I know you all are going to say it's unfair because she was born after the show went off, but yeah, it was Steve Urkel. Julie and you know who Steve Urkel is, right?
I do, but not in the context of the show, just as like a Black character, like as a Black nerdy character.
So like people who were born in the 2000s, do you go back and like watch old shows?
No, I also didn't grow up watching TV, so I might not be the best person to even answer this question. So I don't know, but Steve Urkel I do know, but separate from the show.
Okay. All right.
Mhm. But Jamel, wait, hang on. Remember when I told you I had some breaking news for
Oh,
you?
yeah.
I don't think it's going to be breaking for the audience, but it might be breaking for you.
Go ahead. I'm waiting.
You and I have a shared affinity for this person, this public figure who is just phenomenal, beautiful, smart. And she's expecting again with her husband. Any
Hold on.
guesses?
Not Mia Moore Motley.
No, not Mia Moore Motley. She's a journalist. Went to
Don't take
Harvard.
your girlfriend, CNN, Abby.
Your
Abby
girlfriend, Abby Phillips. She's expecting again with her husband.
Congratulations, Abby, and your husband.
And Gizmont, they both went to Harvard. They're both like kind of like in the industry, both Black. Like I'm just so happy for her. She posted her bump yesterday. I said, I have to tell Jamel.
Man, honestly, I think, and it's not even just what she looks like. Obviously, she's beautiful, but the way she speaks, presents, to me, she's one of the most amazing journalists of a generation. Folks, do you know who Abby Phillip is? Like, she gained a lot of notoriety. I think it was the 2020 election when people really found out who she was. But young journalist, went to Harvard. She didn't even major in journalism.
She did government.
Yeah, she majored in government. Yeah, but
And you know what I you know what I really like about her is she hosts these panels with people who fundamentally disagree with each other, and she puts them all to a table, and she's like, "Let's talk about what we disagree with." And I just feel like that is such a rarity in American politics, particularly. Like it's crazy. Hang on, Shawnette Sumner says disappointment all over Jamel's face. You know what? I think he is disappointed, but Jamel likes Black love. So I think that's, superseding any selfish intentions. You know what I mean?
I'm happy for them, but no, she's beautiful, man. She's beautiful.
And married with one kid and one on the way.
Yeah, and married. Yeah, keep healing. I'm gonna write her. I'm gonna say congratulations. Much love. See, Angela Dill says she watches her every night. Seriously, she's awesome. And like Terry said, she what makes her show so great to me is that she brings people with extremely different perspectives. You don't see that. You really don't see that nowadays. You see one-sided commentary. Whether it's Fox News or MSNBC at one point was very one-sided. She does not do that. She's criticized for it, which I'm like, why are you criticizing the one person that's literally given everyone an opportunity? But that is great news. I love to see it. And may the next Abby Phillip find me. About me. We've got some people. NTS Kill says, Abby is doing the Lord's work at that nightly table. And we've got Renee says, Abby is an excellent journalist who hosts on her show, Never Lets It Get Out of Hand. Yes, she is a powerful Black woman in the space.
Absolutely.
Great. We got to wrap it up and let people go to work before you get them fired. What's your final thoughts on this morning's discussion and then conversation with Denise Carey?
I think the conversation with Denise Carey was wonderful. Like the work that Home is doing is so needed and important. And I didn't know that Bermuda didn't have a working definition for homelessness. I feel like in a country that has one of the highest costs of living, that is just completely unacceptable. So the work that Home is doing is super, super important, just from like a legal perspective, but the social benefit of housing and reintegration is beyond words. So I'm really just grateful for her and her team because this work cannot be easy. Bermuda's so small. So like, I'm sure that on the daily they're encountered with people that they know, people that they knew before, people who are related to them, perhaps. Like this work is really hard. Third sector work in Bermuda is incredibly hard. And I just have mountains and mountains of respect for her team, for her, because the work is really important. I mean, people close to me are affected by homelessness. It's really not far from most people's reality in Bermuda.
Yeah.
But particularly with their focus on corrections and reintegration and reducing recidivism, I think this work is important, really. Like, this is what the government should be supporting and focusing on and expanding their relationship with. Home, that's my let me opine on that. Like, I think that there are just so many problems that are addressed with stable housing. It's something that we can take for granted quite easily, but without it, yeah, it's
And
really
there's
devastating. So yeah, I just feel so grateful to Denise and her team,
probably
because this work is incredibly important. Yeah, so I really enjoyed that part of the discussion.
no, but not the conversation. I've heard the discussion.
Yeah, I'm getting there. And then for this is it. Hold your horses. Hold your horses. And then for our earlier discussion, I just can't wait for the next one, because there are just so many threads connected to CARICOM, connected to Azores, connected to Bermudians abroad. Like, there's just so much more that we can say. And I always feel like that whenever we have these discussions. But that just means that they're relevant and important. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one, because it seems like the entire audience, everyone said other, like Bermuda, the government needs to work on expanding their relationship with the population that is already not in their purview, at least directly. So that spoke volumes to me as well. And per usual, I just miss this audience. Like, everyone is so open and so smart. And yeah, I'm just happy to be back. So my thoughts are looking forward to the next one, and so grateful for Denise Carey and her team at home.
Yeah. As far as the discussion, I think the government opened a can of worms by not being clear. I don't think any of us, regardless of our intellectual capacity, work ethic, we're not going to be perfect in anything we do. But there's always something we could do better. And effectively communicating your strategy and your plan will never be a bad thing. I think that, again, while my support for CARICOM has not waned or gone anywhere, it's like independence. I completely understand why people don't want things. And, it's not up to them to necessarily go and seek the information. It's like voting in elections, right? If you want someone's vote, you have to earn it, right? You can't expect people to just vote for you just because. And so I think that clarity and actual strategy and planning will help people. It will help with buy-in with anything that you're trying to sell. As far as the conversation with Denise, I echo everything you said. I don't think people understand how close so many are to not being able to call something home. And it's a reality that sometimes strikes only when it hits home. It's necessary, but I appreciate in today's discussion the focus on helping people, because let's be honest, there's a stigma for anyone leaving prison, anyone, right? And, finding a job, family may not want to be around you, friends leave you. The least someone can do is have somewhere to call home that gives them some sort of foundation to create a stable life after. And by doing that, you're actually helping the society, the community, by giving someone something rather than them being desperate out doing things to actually have what they don't have to, live as a foundation. So do you have any daily inspiration for us?
I do. And this one is from Martin Luther King Jr., from Fearless Soul. And it says, "Only in the darkness can you see the stars."
I like that.
So whatever you're going through, if you're in the darkness, look for the stars.
All righty. Well, folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC Bermuda, Medical Host Lindos, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 1075 for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Teray Toll. I'm Jamel Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great day. We are out. Peace.